Squatters steal single mom's house. Next day, 300 bikers arrived and delivered instant justice. Sarah Mitchell returned home from weekend trip to find strangers living in her house, claiming squatters' rights. Police said it was civil matter. She filmed desperate video at 2 a.m. By 10 a.m., 300 Nomads motorcycles surrounded house. Sometimes promises made to fathers before death don't arrive until daughters need them most. The two-bedroom Sacramento bungalow sat on maple-lined street in quiet neighborhood, faded blue paint, white picket fence her parents had built, garden her mother had planted years before dying. Property Sarah had inherited at 22 when Father James had died suddenly, leaving house as sole asset along with instructions. This is yours, Sarah. Sell it if you need to, but someday I hope it becomes your home, your real home where you raise family and build life. I bought it for you to have foundation when I'm gone. Use it wisely. Sarah had honored instructions, lived there 10 years, raised 2 children there through divorce, made it sanctuary instead of selling it for quick money. Sunday afternoon, returning from weekend with her children at sister's house, Sarah discovered strangers living in her home, doors changed, belongings missing, locks rekeyed, house that had been her foundation stolen while she was away. Sarah Mitchell was 32, single mother working hospital administration, raising Sophie, 8, and Marcus, 5. Barely surviving financially after divorce from man who'd abandoned family for new life, leaving her with custody, debt, and struggle that never ended. She'd fought to keep house her parents' gift, her children's stability, her only asset of value. Had taken extra shifts, cut expenses, deprioritized everything except keeping roof over her children's heads. House wasn't luxury. It was survival. It was home her children had known their entire lives. It was foundation preventing homelessness when everything else felt precarious. Her father, James, had been motorcycle club member, Nomads Sacramento chapter, had ridden until heart attack killed him at 65. Sarah had been 17 when he died, hadn't attended club events since, had focused on life beyond leather vests and motorcycle culture. But father had loved that club, had made promises members had apparently honored for 15 years, waiting for moment those promises would be needed. Sarah had never understood that waiting. Now, standing in her stolen house, she did. Police arrived 40 minutes after Sarah called reporting intruders in her home. Officers walked through house occupied by 3 squatters who changed locks, hung pictures, rearranged furniture, lived in Sarah's bedroom. Sergeant Martinez, yes, same Martinez from previous stories, assessed situation. This is civil matter, ma'am. Criminal trespass requires proof they knew they were trespassing. They claim they believe they have legal occupancy rights. That makes it civil dispute requiring court order. Go to attorney, file eviction lawsuit. That process typically takes 60 to 90 days. Meanwhile, they can remain in property. Nothing we can do tonight. Sarah was stunned. These are squatters. They broke in. They have no right being here. Do you have documentation they broke windows or doors to gain entry? No, but they changed locks. That's lock changes could be claimed as property improvement. Again, civil matter for courts to determine. If you want them out faster, get emergency protective order through judge. But that requires proving their threat to you, not just trespassing. I'm sorry. System doesn't move fast on property disputes. You need attorney, not police. Martinez left. Sarah was alone with strangers occupying her home, children asking confused questions. System providing no immediate help. Day 1, Monday, 2 a.m. Sarah sat in her car with Sophie and Marcus, homeless in Sacramento, where they'd lived their entire lives, traumatized by invasion of sanctuary, terrified about legal process taking months while strangers occupied their house. Her children cried. Her heart broke. Her panic spiraled. She had no resources for emergency hotel. No family able to help. Sister was struggling financially. Mother had died when Sarah was 25. At 2:47 a.m., desperate and sleep-deprived, Sarah recorded video on her phone. "My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 32 years old. I'm single mother with 2 children. Today, squatters invaded my home, broke locks, occupied rooms, claimed rights to house I own outright, inherited from my father James Mitchell, who died 15 years ago. Police won't help. Said it's civil matter taking months to resolve through courts. Meanwhile, I'm homeless. My children are homeless. House my father left me is occupied by criminals. If anyone knows anything about eviction law, about emergency assistance, about how to remove these people immediately, please help me. My children are terrified. I'm terrified. We need help. Anyone listening, if you knew my father, James Mitchell, if you knew he was Nomads motorcycle club member, if you knew he was good man who helped people, please help his daughter now. I'm begging, please." She posted video to Facebook at 3:15 a.m. Didn't think anyone would watch. Posted because desperation made her try everything, no matter how futile. By 6 a.m., video had 47,000 views. By 8 a.m., 340,000 views. By 10 a.m., 2.3 million views. Comments poured in, people sharing experiences with squatters, offering legal advice, expressing outrage about police response, discussing property rights, and messages from Nomads members recognizing name James Mitchell, remembering 35-year-old chapter president who'd been killed by drunk driver 15 years ago, who'd made them promise, "If anything ever happens to me, if Sarah ever needs help, answer her call. She's my daughter. She's family. Look out for her." Day 1, Monday, 10:30 a.m. Victor Tank Rodriguez, current Nomad Sacramento president, saw video and immediately remembered James had ridden with him every week, had been there when James died, had kept promise 15 years waiting for call that might never come. Now call had arrived, not directly but through viral video, through desperate daughter who didn't even know motorcyclists were watching, who didn't understand her father's club still existed with members who'd loved him. Tank called emergency chapter meeting. James Mitchell's daughter is homeless. Squatters occupied her house. Police won't help. We promised James 15 years ago we'd protect Sarah if she needed us. Time to keep that promise. Full mobilization, 300 members. We surround that house. We document squatters' illegal activity. We provide legal support and security until courts remove them. We show Sacramento and nation watching video what happens when Nomad's family needs protection. We ride at 10:45 a.m. Anyone able to show up, be at Clubhouse in 15 minutes. 60 members were present within 10 minutes. By 10:45 a.m., 300 motorcycles were rolling toward Sarah's house formation designed to intimidate. Presence announcing, "This girl's house is protected. This family has warriors. This squatter situation got worse when they chose wrong house to steal." Day 1, Monday, 11:10 a.m., Sarah's house. Sarah was still sitting in car with children, hadn't moved, was waiting for social services office to open so she could ask about emergency shelter assistance. She heard engines' first distant rumbling becoming closer, becoming louder, becoming thunder rolling down her street. She thought police were coming to arrest her for some reason, paranoia of desperate person without resources or protections. Then 300 motorcycles surrounded her house formation, creating perimeter nobody could cross without permission. Nomads patches visible on leather vests, tank leading group directly to Sarah's car. "Sarah Mitchell?" Tank asked, his voice surprisingly gentle for 6'3", 280-pound man covered in tattoos and motorcycle patches. Sarah was terrified. "Yes? I'm Victor Rodriguez, president of Nomads Sacramento. Your father, James, was my brother. We rode together for years before he died. When James died, he asked us to protect you if you ever needed us. We promised him. Today, you needed us. We're here. Your house got stolen by squatters. We'll handle it. Your children homeless? We'll handle that. You need justice? We'll handle that too. You're Nomads family now, permanently, because your father was family, and family doesn't forget promises to fallen brothers." Sarah cried relief, gratitude, shock that help had arrived from where she'd never expected it. That father she'd barely known as adult had arranged protection she didn't even know existed until moments she needed it most. 300 bikers dismounted, surrounded house, documented everything, squatters inside, locked doors, changed locks, new furniture, Sarah's belongings in garage ready for disposal. Media arrived within 30 minutes, local news becoming national story. Homeless single mom's video reaches 2.3 million. Motorcycle club responds within hours. By noon, Sarah's story was trending. By 1 p.m., prosecutors were filing charges against squatters for criminal trespass, property theft, breaking and entering. By 2 p.m., judge issued emergency protective order removing squatters from property. By 3 p.m., squatters were arrested, removed, processed. By 4 p.m., Sarah had keys returned, house restored, police protection arranged for removing remaining squatters' belongings. By 5 p.m., Sarah and her children had their home back. 48 hours, police had said, would take 60 to 90 days, resolved by 300 motorcycles, proving that systems work differently when witnesses arrive, when media attention focuses, when powerful organizations decide justice matters more than convenience. Day 2 would test whether protection lasted beyond immediate response, whether Nomads' promise to James extended to supporting Sarah rebuild what squatters had destroyed. Day 1, Monday, 5 hours p.m. Squatters were removed, house was restored, but deeper damage remained. 3 days squatters had lived there, had contaminated property, had damaged walls, changing locks, had violated sanctuary Sarah's children had felt safe in. Marcus asked, "Mommy, are the bad people coming back?" Sophie cried when entering her bedroom, scared to go to bathroom alone, anxious about security, feeling violated. Tank understood. Kids need feeling of safety. Physical security isn't enough. They need community, proving home is protected, proving nobody gets hurt, proving family stays. We're staying tonight. Bikers will rotate 24/7 security outside your house, minimum 1 week. That's time enough for you to install better locks, security system, cameras. We'll fund all that. You're not paying. Nomads family helps family. That's how it works. Sarah wanted to refuse accepting help from Motorcycle Club, felt like admitting she couldn't survive alone, like betraying independence she'd fought maintaining. But her children needed security, and security her limited resources couldn't provide had arrived from bikers who'd kept promise to father 15 years dead. "Thank you," Sarah said simply. "I don't know what to say. You didn't have to do this." "We absolutely had to do this," Tank replied. Your father made us promise. Promises keep us alive as organization. Promises make us family. Promises are why Nomads exist. So thank you for giving us chance to honor promise James made us give. Thank you for needing us. Thank you for letting us be family you deserve. Day 2, Tuesday. Media coverage exploded. 300 bikers delivered justice in 7 hours. That system takes 90 days. Homeless single mom finds unexpected family in motorcycle club. What happens when community responds faster than government? National news picked up story. Twitter trending. Facebook comments reaching 100,000. People sharing experiences with squatters, praising Nomads' response, criticizing police inaction, discussing property rights failures. Sacramento sheriff responded defensively. Police followed proper procedure handling civil matter. If victims want faster resolution, they should contact attorneys or judges directly. We can't circumvent legal process. Christina Ramirez appeared on local news. This case reveals systemic failure when property crimes take 3 months to resolve while families remain homeless. Sarah Mitchell got 300 people surrounding her house, making situation urgent priority. Most victims don't have that resource. We need faster eviction procedures, emergency protective orders easier to obtain, police authority to address property crimes with urgency. Sarah's case is a success story, but only because Motorcycle Club responded where government should have. Tank didn't want media attention. We weren't trying to embarrass police. We were trying to keep promise to fallen brother. Sarah's situation got better because her father was part of family that remembers promises, honors commitments, shows up when called. We'd do that for any member's family. We just happened to do it publicly because Sarah's desperation was public. If she'd called us directly, same response would have occurred privately. Media attention came because people watching her video decided this mattered. We just acted on what mattered to us, protecting sister of fallen member like he asked us to protect her. Day 3, Wednesday. Legal resolution. Squatters face multiple charges: breaking and entering, criminal trespass, property theft, attempted fraud claiming occupancy rights. Prosecutor offered deals most accepted to avoid trial. First squatter received 60 days jail plus restitution order. Second received 90 days jail. Third received 6 months jail. He'd had prior convictions, making this his third strike potential. All 3 were ordered, paying Sarah $8,000 restitution for damages, trauma, costs she'd incurred. Judge Rodriguez commended Sarah's restraint. You had 300 individuals surrounding your home who could have used violence resolving this situation. Instead, you allowed legal process to work with their presence as witnesses and deterrent. That's admirable. Restitution is ordered, but collection probability is low. These individuals have minimal resources. Nomads has offered supplementary support if needed. That generosity is admirable also. This court recognizes both victims and communities deserve faster justice than we typically provide. This case will inform future policy recommendations. Order is adjudicated. Sarah received $8,000 restitution. Nomads paid additional $5,000 covering damages. Squatters caused Sarah hadn't documented, covering therapy costs for children processing trauma, covering security system installation, guaranteeing no repeat situations. Day 4, Thursday. Tank visited Sarah at house. How are you holding up? Kids settling down? House feeling safe again? Yes, because of you, because of your club, because my father was family you remembered longer than I remembered you. I still don't fully understand what your club does or why you prioritized a stranger, but I'm grateful beyond words I can express. You're not stranger. Your father made you family when he asked us to watch over you. Family doesn't expire. Blood relations do. People stop calling, relationships fade, but promises made motorcycle to motorcycle, brother to brother, created bond. His death didn't break. You needed us. We answered. That's what nomads do. That's what James would have done if he'd been here to help you himself. So we did what he would have done. We protected his daughter. Tank explained Nomads History Club, founded by James's father, Sarah's grandfather, passed down when James took over chapter, continued when Tank had inherited leadership. Club members James had ridden with still riding, now watching James's daughter grow, now keeping promise to brother gone 15 years. Your grandfather, your father both were Nomads presidents. That makes you Nomads family by blood and promise. You're welcome at Clubhouse anytime. Your children are welcome. You're part of something bigger than Motorcycle Club. You're part of legacy of men who kept promises, protected families, stood together through life and death. That's your heritage, Sarah. That's your family. Blood from your father, values from his club, protection from brothers he rode with. Welcome home. Sarah understood then. Sometimes home isn't just house. Sometimes home is family that keeps promises. Sometimes promises survive death. Sometimes motorcycles become the vehicle that delivers promises father made to brothers, ensuring daughter never has to face crisis completely alone. Day 5 would test whether Sarah's integration into club family would extend beyond immediate crisis, whether protection would become permanent, whether Sarah would finally understand she'd never been alone. Father had arranged forever family waiting for her to need them. Sometimes promises wait years to be needed. Sometimes, when they're needed, arrival is thunder rolling down street, carrying family that remembered what blood relationships sometimes forget. We're obligated protecting people we love even after we're gone. Sometimes fathers arrange forever. Sometimes families keep those arrangements for 15 years, waiting for moment daughters call. Sometimes that moment arrives, and when it does, sometimes it's 300 motorcycles reminding daughter, you were never alone. Father made sure of it. We made sure of it. We'll keep making sure of it. Forever. Day 5, Friday. Sarah prepared for normal life. Resuming work had given her 3 days emergency leave. Children had settled slightly. House was secured. Squatters were arrested. She thought crisis had ended. Then Detective James Morrison, related to Morrison family from previous stories, corruption networks, span networks, arrived with warrant. We're investigating motorcycle club involvement in property crime. You're harboring known criminals. All Nomads members present at your property. Tuesday are potential accomplices in vigilante action violating squatters' rights. We need to question you about their involvement and your coordination. Sarah was furious. They protected me. They kept promise made to my father. They didn't violate anyone's rights. They witnessed crime and helped me stop it. That's not for you to determine. That's for authorities. Nomads is known gang. We're investigating whether they're using property crime as pretext for organized activity. Your cooperation would be appreciated. Tank called immediately after learning Morrison had visited. This is predictable. Police don't like being shown up by civilians. They'll investigate everything, find nothing, but disrupt our chapter for months with interrogations, warrants, intimidation tactics. Classic response when your badge gets tarnished by 300 bikers doing faster justice than you provided. Don't worry. We have attorneys. We've faced worse. This is temporary harassment. But harassment meant police presence, meant school picking up Sophie asking, "Why are police looking for bikers from your house?" Meant Marcus having nightmares renewed about police searching their home. Meant Sarah's sanctuary feeling violated again, not by squatters, but by law enforcement suggesting bikers were criminals somehow. Week 1. Investigation resolution. Christina coordinated legal response. Morrison has no evidence of Nomads' involvement in crime. Presence at property wasn't illegal. Documentation of trespass wasn't illegal. Calling police wasn't illegal. Witnessing property crime wasn't illegal. Morrison's investigating imaginary violations. This is harassment, covered by thin pretext of legitimate inquiry. We file harassment complaint against detective, request his removal from case due to conflict of interest, and publicize investigation as retaliation against motorcycle club for embarrassing police department. Media loves that story. 2 news cycles of police investigate vigilantes who helped single mom transforms to detective retaliates against club for making police look incompetent. Morrison's investigation lasted 2 weeks, found nothing, officially closed without charges. But damage was done. Nomads members had been interrogated, clubhouse had been searched, uncertainty had disrupted normal operations. That was point, not evidence, just interference. But Nomads absorbed interference like they'd absorbed every other challenge. They continued 24/7 security rotation at Sarah's house. They installed security cameras, upgraded locks, installed alarm system she couldn't afford. They enrolled Marcus and Sophie in club's youth mentorship program, providing male role models motorcycle club naturally provided. They invited Sarah to chapter meetings, where she observed from separate area, integrated her into community, treated her as family she'd become through blood and promise. Month 1. Sarah's integration. Sarah couldn't believe her luck had shifted. Struggling single mother 1 week, integrated into 300-member motorcycle family next week. She attended fundraiser Nomads organized charity ride, supporting homeless assistance, benefiting from same organization she'd almost joined as client 6 months earlier. Sophie and Marcus attended club picnic. First time in months, they'd felt carefree, playing with other club members' children, feeling part of community beyond just Sarah and them struggling alone. Tank approached Sarah at picnic. "I want you to meet someone. This is Thomas. He's 16. Lost his father 5 years ago, same way you lost him suddenly, no warning. Thomas's father was my brother, like your father was my brother, like I promised to protect you. Other members promised to protect Thomas. He's turned into good kid despite grief. Wants to get to know his father's family better. That's us, and that's you. Your father and Thomas's father rode together for years. You're connected through them, through promises, through family that doesn't disappear because people die. Thought you two should meet cousins through motorcycle club, not blood, but family through something deeper, through commitment." Thomas hugged Sarah, young man, with her father's eyes she somehow recognized, connected through grief and club that had mothered both of them through losses. "My dad talked about your father," Thomas said quietly. "Said James was best ride partner he'd ever had. Said if something happened to him, he wanted me to know. Promises made on motorcycles matter more than most legal contracts. I'm glad Dad kept those promises. Means you had help when you needed it. Means I have family beyond just Mom. Means club did what Dad trusted them to do, stayed. Through death, through years, through moment you needed them. That's beautiful, really. That's why Dad loved this club. Sarah cried, grief and gratitude mixing, understanding finally that Father's relationship to club had created her inheritance of family. That promises weren't poetic metaphors, but actual commitment sustained across decades, tested by death, proven through protection. That she'd been protected 15 years before she knew she needed protection. That motorcycle club her father had loved her preemptively, watching from distance, waiting for moments she'd need them, then arriving with 300 thunder-bearing brothers. Sometimes promises are arranged before daughters even understand they'll need them. Sometimes fathers arrange everything necessary knowing they can't be there themselves. Sometimes motorcycles are medium of commitment. Sometimes club is family. Truly, literally, forever. Month 3, Sarah's new normal. Sarah had moved beyond crisis into integration. Nomads had helped her find better job. Salary increased 40% through club connection. Had provided childcare through wives and girlfriends, allowing her more flexibility. Had incorporated her family into club social structure so thoroughly, Sophie and Marcus had grown comfortable in an environment most outsiders found intimidating, but was genuinely nurturing. But best change, Sophie and Marcus no longer asked terrified questions about security, no longer worried about home being invaded, no longer suffered nightmares about squatters. Nomads' sustained presence had transformed anxiety into safety children playing freely, believing home was defended not just by mother, but by 300 brothers who'd proven they'd arrive when called. Sarah worked at hospital admin office, sat next to colleague Lisa, who'd been struggling with her own crisis. Abusive boyfriend, escalating violence, police offering no protection beyond call if things get worse. Sarah shared her story, shared Tank's number, showed Lisa what happened when community decided protection mattered. Lisa called. Within hours, Nomads had girlfriend secured in safe house, boyfriend arrested on domestic violence charges, legal case built for protective order. Lisa texted Sarah, "I don't know why Motorcycle Club showed up for me. I don't know your father, but I got justice and protection I couldn't find anywhere else. Thank you for sharing that number. Thank you for showing me what showing up actually looks like." Month 6, crisis resolved into opportunity. Sarah's video that had gone viral resulted in unexpected opportunity. Streaming service wanted to develop documentary about squatter crisis, about police inaction, about Nomads' response. Sarah was hesitant, didn't want to exploit her family's tragedy for entertainment. Tank encouraged her. Make documentary, but make it true. Show squatter systems that are broken. Show police that could respond faster but don't. Show Motorcycle Club that kept promise. But make it about all the other people in your situation. Make it education tool showing what systems fail, what communities can do, how society needs changing. Use platform for good instead of just profit. Documentary premiered at film festival Thunder and Home When Promises Arrive on Motorcycles. It won Best Documentary Award, launched Sarah's career as criminal justice reform advocate, created platform discussing squatter laws, property crime procedures, community accountability when government fails. Sarah interviewed with policymakers. Squatters occupied my home because police couldn't act fast enough. Motorcycle Club helped faster than government. That shouldn't be required. Systems need reform, making emergency property removal available within days, not months. Police need resources and authority responding to property crimes. Communities shouldn't have to organize vigilante responses when legal systems could function better. I'm grateful to Nomads, but I shouldn't be grateful I needed them. That's failure they had to fix. Let's reform systems so future victims don't need 300 motorcycles. They need 300 police officers empowered to act. Year 1, legislative changes. Sarah's advocacy contributed to Sacramento County emergency property removal procedures, reducing timeline from 90 days to 30 days for documented owner situations. Police Department implemented property crime response protocols, improving investigation speed. And Nomad Sacramento received official city commendation for exceptional community service supporting vulnerable residents when governmental systems lagged. Tank accepted award on behalf of Club. We're grateful for recognition, but we want recognition to go deeper. Credit should go to promises made years ago by men now deceased. Credit should go to community members willing to help their neighbors. Credit should go to systems that work better when everyone participates. And credit should go to Sarah Mitchell, who shared her crisis publicly, who allowed her story to become catalyst for change, who turned personal tragedy into community benefit. That's what we should recognize. Not motorcycle club, community action. That's how societies survive. That's how families endure. That's how promises transform suffering into power. Year 2, Sarah's full integration. Sarah attended Nomad's anniversary party, huge event with hundreds of members from satellite chapters, wives and girlfriends, children, community members. She was introduced not as victim helped by Club, but as member of family, daughter of James Mitchell, sister of Tank, and all Nomads brothers. She spoke to gathering. 2 years ago, my life fell apart when squatters stole my home. I called for help and 300 motorcycles arrived. I didn't understand then how that was possible. Now, I understand. My father arranged forever family knowing I might need them. He made promises riders honored 15 years after he died. That's not normal. But Nomads isn't normal. It's better than normal. It's family that remembers, that keeps promises, that shows up when called. My father gave me greatest gift possible before he died. Not just house, but family. Not just mother, but brothers. Not just inheritance, but legacy. Thank you for keeping promises to man who loved you enough to make you promise to protect his daughter. That promise changed my life, changed my children's lives, showed us what loyalty and community really look like. Thank you for being forever family my father promised we'd have. Year 5, legacy continues. Sarah, at 37, was criminal justice reform advocate working with government agencies, improving property crime response procedures. Sophie, at 13, was assistant to Club's youth coordinator, helping younger children feel welcomed, protected, integrated. Marcus, at 10, idolized Tank, talked about potentially joining Club when he grew older. Club members were gentle, discouraging premature commitments while accepting possibility. Sarah visited father's grave with Tank and Thomas, her cousin, through Club. Dad, your promise worked. Your daughter is safe. Your club is taking care of her and her children. Your legacy is continuing through them. Thank you for arranging forever. Thank you for knowing I'd need it. Thank you for loving me so much you planned protection after death. That's love that transcends mortality. That's what makes family real. Tank placed hand on her shoulder. James would be proud. Proud of daughter who turned crisis into advocacy. Proud of family he built that survived his death. proud of promises kept by brothers who'll keep keeping them until death comes for us too. Then other brothers will keep promises we make now about protecting loved ones we'll leave behind. That's Nomads' legacy. That's why Club exists. That's what promises mean. Forever, no expiration, no exceptions, just commitment that survives mortality. Sometimes promises wait years to be needed. Sometimes when they're needed, they arrive as Thunder 300 motorcycles reminding daughters that fathers arranged forever family. Sometimes what seemed like loss becomes gain. Sometimes what felt like being alone reveals was actually being protected from distance. Sometimes family is exactly what fathers promised. Forever commitment arriving exactly when daughters need saving. Sarah's documentary sparked national conversation about squatter laws, property crime, police response delays. 17 states reformed squatter removal procedures, reducing timelines from 60-odd 20 days to 30 days maximum. Police departments across country implemented emergency property crime response protocols. Nomads' involvement in Sarah's case became textbook example of community accountability. When governmental systems lag taught in criminal justice courses, discussed in reform advocacy circles, cited in policy recommendation documents. Sarah received job offer from nonprofit organization dedicated to criminal justice reform, accepted, became director within 2 years. Sophie and Marcus thrived under Nomads' mentorship, both excelling academically, both confident about their identity as motorcycle club family, both equipped with male role models teaching healthy masculinity. Tank maintained 24/7 security rotation at Sarah's house for full year, gradually reducing to weekly visits, transforming from crisis response to normal family pattern of checking on members they'd committed protecting. 20 years later, Sarah, at 52, was Executive Director of Criminal Justice Reform Alliance, advocating nationally for faster property crime response and victim protection. Sophie, at 33, was attorney specializing in property law reform. Marcus, at 28, was prospect member of Nomads Club, having grown up learning club values and committing to them as adult. Tank, at 73, retired as president, passed leadership to next generation, but remained elder statesman advising club, protecting legacy James had built 50 years earlier. Sometimes promises made motorcycle to motorcycle survive decades. Sometimes daughters finally understand. Fathers arranged forever. Sometimes what looked like crisis becomes legacy. Sometimes 300 motorcycles arriving proves commitment that transcends mortality. Sometimes squatters steal houses, but bikers steal them back not through violence but through family, through promises, through showing up when called, proving that forever isn't metaphor when motorcycle clubs decide it's reality.